everybody, welcome to episode 19 of the Backstage Knits podcast. My name is Catherine, and you can find me on Ravelry as Backstage Cat Knits. There's also a Ravelry group for the podcast, which you can get to by searching the Backstage Knits podcast. And I'm also on Instagram as Backstage Cath. And you definitely want to follow me on Instagram. You don't have to, but if you do, you will soon see photos of my trip to Spain. I'm leaving on Wednesday. Woot! Alright, so anyway, today is not Wednesday. Today is Saturday, September 10th, 2016, and I'm coming at you from my apartment in beautiful downtown Hartford, Connecticut. And today we're going to talk about knitting, because it's awesome. Yeah, so a big hello to anyone who's watching me for the first time or started watching me very recently. A special big hello to members of my two knitting groups who may be watching. You know who you are. Hello, great to see you digitally. And a big thank you to anyone who's a returning viewer. I'm so happy to have you guys watching my episodes, and I hope you enjoy it. So let's get started. I have 2 finished objects, 3 works in progress, one's, interesting, and a couple of acquisitions, and then I'll talk about going to Spain. Which, I mean, there's not really much. I'm going there. The exciting thing is, 3 weeks from now when I'm back, or 2, or something like that. So anyway, here we go. Yes, recording on Saturday because my roommate is working. Thanks, roommate, I can podcast. Alright, anyway, it's a very rambling introduction to this podcast. Good times. So, let's talk about finished objects. The first one I don't have here because I didn't plan my life well. Wasn't sure if I was going to get a chance to podcast this weekend. I really should be packing right now, but I'll do that later. And so I didn't bring home my Watson because he lives at my desk. So last time I had Mini Watson, who's a finished object, Watson 1.0, and I had the body of Watson 2.0 done. But I've completed Watson 2.0, so we're going to take a break. I'm going to put a little picture in, and I'll narrate the little picture, and it's really not that exciting. I mean, it's a bigger version of Watson 1.0 from last time, but they're adorable, and they're sitting next to each other, and it's so cute. So, I'll talk about that right now. Alright, so here you can see Big and Little Watson next to each other for scale. So I finished up the keyboard and added the mouse and did the little details in just a gray embroidery thread that I had bought. I love how it came out. It's so much fun to look at. Again, you can kind of see the comfiness of the entire knitting, but, it was my first time, so that's alright. It is a little bit hard to see the pearl bumps on the black yarn for the keyboard, so if I knit this pattern again, which I think I might, I think I'll probably do dark gray for the main body of Watson as opposed to black. The other thing was I stuffed the bottom, the keyboard, with some popcorn kernels just to kind of keep it a little bit more stable since Watson 1.0 kind of falls over a little bit. So I knit this out of Cascade 220 Superwash, and it came out really well. It was on, I believe, 3.75 millimeter needles, and so I love how it turned out. I think next time I would also skip the eyes on the mouse, because I don't really like how that looks, and it makes it look more snake-like. They look a little bit better just with how I did the bind-off than Watson 1.0, but I think I would make that modification again, and since I knit this, the little disk drive has actually come out. I'm not very good at embroidering the details on, so that actually fell out, but I'm okay with that because most computers don't have disk drives anymore, and you can kind of tell what it is without that. So that's Watson 2.0. He hangs out at my desk, and I love looking at him every single day. Alright, so the reason I do it like that is because I have to use Windows Movie Maker, and it doesn't allow you to put pictures on top of video that's already playing, so I just kind of recorded myself talking about Watson 2.0 with the picture as it came up. So anyway, there's that. I have another finished object, and they look a little bit funky because I wore them a couple times, but these are my rainbow socks. They're finished. They're so pretty. So I made these socks out of Haverland Yarns Potomac sock. well, I don't remember what, I don't know. I have the tag here. Let me get the tag. The tag for some reason is still in the bag, even though there are now other socks in this bag, which you'll see in a bit. Okay, so this is Haverland Yarns Potomac sock, which is a 75-25%. 75 superwash merino, 25% nylon. And so yeah, these are my socks. I made up the pattern myself. This is just a little feather and fan pattern, which I did one repeat of, and kind of it just sort of fit perfectly. I did 68 stitches around, and so between 2 purl stitches on either side and 2 knit stitches on the front of either the beginning or the end of the round, I made these like slightly different, so the pattern would be on the outside, so it's hard to get these in the frame. I'm a little zoomed in today. Anyway, it covers half the foot. So I did a fish lips kiss heel, 15 rounds of 1x1 ribbing, and my toe reverse engineered from the Rose City Rollers toe. I really like how they came out. They're very soft and comfortable. The only thing, this is kind of funny, so when I do my fish lips kiss heel, I'm actually considering not doing this because I'm not loving how it's fitting it. I think it's something that when I start, I think I'm going to like it, and then as I'm going through, I decide that I don't like it. Not going through, but at the end, she has modifications for how to, like what you should do if you want more instep, and so those modifications, I hope I'm not giving it away too much, but I think really the beauty of the pattern is in the stitches, and that's why it costs $1. So anyway, you can increase stitches, and on one of these socks, on this one, I increased and forgot to decrease, and didn't realize until all the way up here. And I was like, nope, not gonna do it. Because what I was noticing, I was like, I've been pretty good with the colors, you know, and I did 60 rows, both the foot and the leg. And so I was like, wow, the colors have been pretty close, but man, I feel like I'm using up a lot of the yellow and or the orange, and I still want a repeat to go. And compared to this, you know, the orange doesn't actually get a repeat. Like, and you can kind of see, like, sorry, this is a hot mess today. Like here, there's one of the yarn overs actually in the orange, and on this one, it's just below where the orange starts. So it might be a little bit hard to see, but yeah, I was like, oh, and I counted my stitches, and I was like, oh, I never increased, or rather decreased. But anyway, it worked out. You can't really tell, and it doesn't really matter when you're wearing them. It was just 2 stitches, so it was fine. But they would have been exact. They're almost exact. But again, when you're wearing them, totally can't tell. It's just my own perfectionism. But I was not ripping back like 58 rows. It's just not happening. So there's that. I love them. These are socks for me. So I finished those. I went up to Boston last weekend and I took the train, so I had a ton of knitting time. So I finished those on the train? Yes, on the train on the way home. And so I started another pair of socks because I thought ahead and brought yarn with me. And I did bring it, I brought my shawl, which you'll see in a sec with me, but I didn't feel like working on it. It was really late at night, and we were delayed, and it was, even though this shawl is really easy, it was not shawl time. But really, I should have done the shawl, because I think at that point I was just on garter stitch rows, and I took 3 tries to start this toe, because I couldn't remember how to do a Judy's Magic Cast on at 11 o'clock at night on a train stuck on the tracks. Yeah, long journey. Anyway, so here's a sock. This yarn is Pipolo Fields. This is, I believe, her super sock base. I have lost the tag. I'm sorry. The colorway is Surprise Party. It's kind of it grays into darker grays, and then some flecks of just really fun pinks and yellows and blues and all sorts of colors. People Fields does awesome things with like speckles, and you'll see more in a bit from her. So the pattern is Scatterbee Socks by someone whose name I did not write down. It's a free pattern on Ravelry, and it's this really interesting, like, it's a combination of slip stitches and passing, slip stitch with the yarn in front and like knitting twice into the abbreviation is KW2 or K2W, but it's like you start to knit and then like you do a yarn over, but still in that same knit stitch, and so you end up with a longer stitch, which then you slip up 2 rows. So you can kind of see it better on the back. So you can sort of see what it's doing there. It's a pretty cool pattern. Initially I didn't really like how it was working up, but as it's been going forward, I do like it. And my mother actually I was knitting these at our Labor Day party. My mother actually expressed interest in them, so they will be hers. So as you might be able to tell, kind of the way these needles are positioned, I've started the heel. I'm doing a Fish Lips Kiss heel just because I had the pattern memorized, and today at Knitting Club I was ready to do it. So I did 18 repeats of the pattern, which is a 4-stitch pattern, so 84? Yeah, maybe? I don't know. Bad at math. Anyway, so I'm midway through the heel, and I'm ready to do the boomerang rows now, so, there's that. I think that's it to talk about these socks. This will probably come with me to Spain. I think I will take this, and I will likely finish this. I don't want to say I'll finish it on the way there, but in order to get to Spain, I'm flying out of Boston, and I go Boston to JFK, have an hour-long layover, which will be no layover at all, because you have to, it's like a half-hour layover, but it's international, so essentially no layover, and then from JFK to Barcelona, which I actually have not researched how long of a journey that is. I'm imagining it's between 6 and 8 hours. That's about what I think to Italy it was 6 hours, so those two countries are fairly close to each other, so I actually have no idea how long I'm on a plane. I should figure that out. But I think I should be able to finish, and I've got 2 days, although I kind of want to finish that shawl, which you'll see in a bit. I think I should be able to finish these fairly quickly into the journey, which then I'm kind of like, well, why am I going to bring them if I'm going to finish them so quickly? But I'm more stressed about what knitting I'm going to bring with me on this 11 days in Spain than about what clothing to bring. So we'll see. Maybe I'll knit really fast and finish these sooner than I think. Okay, last work in progress-ish. So I don't think you haven't seen this because I cast this on September 1st. So I talked about this though. This is the Pipolo shawl by Megan Schmaltz, who's the Unapologetic Knitter. You can kind of see what it looks like there. And this is a knit along that's hosted by Megan. I think there will be prizes. It goes till October 13th, I believe. And so Pipolo Fields dyed yarn specifically for this shawl. And there were certain kits she had, and so I bought it. So this is Pipolo Fields Skinny Mini Sock, which is 100% squash merino, single ply, and the colorways are Sherry, which is this this beautiful like pink peachy. It's washing out a little bit on my screen right now. That might just be the brightness. With these really awesome pops of like dark fuchsia, navy, and like a red. It's really, really pretty. I like it a lot there. You can kind of see the red. And then just a natural color, which is the Scott. So they were all named after like couples that Megan and I believe it's Sherry, who owns Pipolo Fields, had known, and kind of they were inspired by them. So here is the shawl. As you can see, I've gotten pretty far in, I guess this would be 10 days. So it's an interesting pattern. It kind of starts with just a little increase down here, a stockinette section, a lattice section, and then a stripe section, and then this is called the jersey stripe section. So you kind of you see this pattern's got some garter ridges in there, alternating with stockinette, and then I believe it's just this one row of the color B, and then it goes into, you're gonna get this again, and then it ends with a lattice section, and then a bind off with just this plain color. So I really like it. I love how the colors they play really well together. The sherry even has some spots, you can kind of see it there. Well, it's going to be hard to see, I won't zoom in. That are kind of left undyed and match up really nicely. So it's really pretty, and I love the pops of color, like there and there, and all there that come with the pink. So you can kind of see, I made a couple of mistakes in my lattice section. You can kind of see a little bit oh, it's so hard to hold this by yourself. You can kind of see that the direction of my lattice changes colors. And then also, where'd it go? Someplace over here, I don't even know what I did. Maybe it's the other side. I think it's here. So I don't even know what happened, but somehow I had 2 stitches that were I posted this on Instagram, and so I was going to have a big giant hole, but I don't know really what I did, but I did something with a crochet hook and then got one of the stitches all the way up to the row I was knitting on. It was probably 10 rows down, and knitted 2 together, and now it kind of looked like a thing. Don't really know what I'm doing. It was probably not the right way to fix that mistake, but you can't really tell. And with where that's going to be in the shawl, you're not even really going to see that very much. So this shawl has a really interesting construction. Without giving too much away, you only do increases. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, my catkin shawl is similar, which I haven't touched at all. You only do increases every couple of rows, so for many rows the stitch count stays the same, which on the one hand I like. On the other hand, that jump from, I think it went from 161 to, or 130 to 260. I was like, oh my, oh boy. But now I think I'm steady with number of stitches the rest of the shawl, which is good. And I'm also not really quite sure how it's going to block out. You can kind of see it looks a little bit interesting. So, you probably couldn't see because I brought that up really fast, but whatever. So yeah, I'm working on this. And this is a good shawl because there's a lot of visual interest, but there's absolutely nothing complicated about the shawl. I mean, the lattice section technically is lace knitting or knitted lace, or someone was talking about that, about the difference between lace knitting and knitted lace. I think I was looking on for the lace lovers on the Ravelry forum, and so but nothing is really difficult, so it's a good kind of mindless knit. But I don't want to bring it with me because again, I'm almost done with it, and plus I need to rely on the pattern pretty heavily. We'll see, you guys. I really don't know. Okay, so that is that. I'm making a hot mess today while I'm recording. So, a couple of other things. So, both my roommate's grandmothers were knitters. Apparently, I think her dad's mother is still a knitter, but doesn't do it very often. So, apparently her grandmother was knitting a sweater for her grandfather, and it just kind of died. And my roommate's mom was like, hey, someone needs to finish this sweater, maybe, if you want to. It's apparently sat around for 15 years just not being knitted on. Do you want to finish it? We're not going to pay you. Which is fine, But I think I am going to work on it because there's a front and a back, so all I need to do is the sleeves and seam it. Now, it's kind of annoying because the sleeves are knit flat in this pattern, and I don't trust to myself to do this in the round. This is from, it's this pattern here. This is the Heat and Men's collection, and I forget, from Plymouth Yarn. Oh look. I didn't really notice that. So this is, I forget what this pattern is called, but this is it that I'm knitting. This is the man's jumper. Very creatively named, as opposed to the man's cable and argyle jumper. Anyway, so let me show you what I got. So as you can see, there is a back and front, or maybe this is the back. They look very similar. The neck is different, but I guessed wrong when I brought it up the first time. And that's it. So I have to make 2 sleeves and seam it all together. But I'm actually kind of, should get in the frame while I'm talking. I'm actually kind of looking forward to it because, like I said, I've never knit a sweater, so I think maybe this will, like, having to just do the sleeves and seam it all together will maybe get me excited to do it. So, as you can see, the sleeves are not just straight sleeves. If they were, I'd be, like, zooming along. But no, they're patterned, just like the sweater. Lots to do. So, I've started it, not gotten very far at all. I think I've gotten 6 rows done. It's twisted rib. Very exciting. So, sweater 1 done. These are 3.5 millimeter needles, and then you go up to, well, the pattern calls for 3.25, but I didn't have any, but I figured my gauge is so tight that we're good. I didn't do a gauge swatch, which is a problem, but, like, I can tell, like, on the bottom, it's supposed to be a smaller needle size, but there's no way that this person went down on needle size. And I think for the bottom it probably makes sense because you can kind of see on the front, the bottom is very tight, and maybe she thought the recipient wouldn't like that. But I think for the sleeves you want it a little bit tighter, so. And then I will probably go up to size 4 because it's a lot of cabled, so I think I should be able to keep my stitches fairly loose on that. So yes, this will be interesting. I have no idea if the recipient will even ever wear this because it might just be so, like, old at this point, but I figured, you know what, if they don't want it, I'll keep it and wear it with, like, leggings around the house in the winter. Because, like, it's going to be huge on me. It's a men's sweater and it won't really fit nicely. It's not something I can wear publicly, really, but it'll be nice to just have hanging around. This yarn is Penguin France. 50% wool, 50% acrylic. So I have all the yarn, which is good because this would be really hard to match, I would imagine. So yeah, I have all the yarn and everything, just I need to finish it. So you may see that up here later on. Alright, I've got a couple of acquisitions that I'll talk about quickly. So this is something that I've actually had for a while, but just forgot that I had and didn't talk about on the podcast. So you might remember a couple of shawls ago I knit using yarn from Fat Cat Knits Dyer, which I actually got at the Connecticut Sheep and Wool Festival in Vernon. I believe she's a dyer from New York, and so I signed up for her club. I think it's like 3 or 4 months this year, and it's an undersea theme, so each shipment has a different animal theme, I believe, and so she had a ton of different options, like, do you want fiber, or do you want yarn, do you want, like, 2 colors, or 1 color, just 50 grams, 100 grams, so what I signed up for was the semi-solid, or then she had, like, if you want just 1 color, do you want semi-solid color that I'm going to dye, or the variegated? So I signed up for 50 grams of the semi-solid and 50 grams of the variegated, thinking I could just make socks with toes and cuffs, and then have some of the semi-solid left over, and then maybe make a pair of striped socks at the end with the scraps of the semi-solid from the toes and cuffs. So just have, like, a whole series of undersea socks, which would be cool. So this is the first shipment, which again came a while ago. I might even be getting the second one, like, next week. I really don't remember. It's one of the things I kind of forgot that I bought, and I was like, oh yeah, I bought that. So this was the lobster. So I got the Claude, which is the variegated, and the Homer, which is the brown. So I'll read you about it. For Claude, I chose rich dark tones of blue, black, brown, and purple, adding in bright warm oranges and yellows. Claude Semi-Solid Homer is a not-so-solid brown and varies quite a bit from braid to braid. It looks like it's about fiber. I think it must be primarily a fiber club, but I chose the yarn. So, kind of see what they look like. You got the nice little red, lobster red here, and then kind of down into these blues with these pops of orange, and then just the brown. So, you know, like I said when I thought I bought it, that was my original plan to make socks, but now that I got it, I kind of like these. I might actually make a shawl based out of them, like a stripy shawl with these two colors. I've seen the Reina shawl, which is designed for a 100-gram skein of fingering weight yarn. So I might do that with that pattern. It's like 99.9% sure it's free, and it has like sections of stockinette with sections of lattice work. And so I think I might do, you know, you could kind of probably pick the lattice work for the variegated in this, or the other way about. So that might happen, or it might just kind of languish, deciding what it wants to be. Oh, there's a ball of yarn here on my feet. There we go. And then I got my September Yarn Box Socks subscription, and it is this gorgeous skein from Lichen and Lace, right? Yes, Lichen and Lace, which is hand-dyed in Sackville, New Brunswick. I'm assuming that's what NB stands for. So this is her 80-20 sock, which is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 365 yards and 100 grams, and this is the Orchid colorway. So Orchid is this beautiful, let's see if I can get this. There we go. Uh-oh. Okay, there we go. It's this beautiful, like, very light yellow, almost with a little flecks of kind of green in there, and these pops of, like, fuchsia. It's really beautiful. I might make, this is really pretty. You know the Red Robin shawl? Both Robins that I watch on podcasts, Stitching Between Pages, and Cherry Pearl's podcast have knit it. And it's this really just like solid triangular shawl with tassels at the end. And I think it might be really pretty in this because the color will just kind of pop beautifully in that. So there is that. And then finally, I talked about this last time, I ordered Knitting Mochi Mochi by Anna Krachovek. And so it's just got 20 different toy patterns. I love these slippers. I think I will be making those, but they're just adorable little things, bigger than my teeny tiny Mochi Mochi. But yeah, there's that. So I think that's it. I apologize. I feel like I'm really rambling and really talking fast today. So sorry about that. Hopefully you can still understand me and it's not too ridiculous. But I did have 2 finished objects, even though one of them is not with me. And so I did want to record today before I left, and hopefully I will have lots to talk about when I get back. I will be posting on Instagram fairly frequently, and I promise to take lots of pictures. I'm still trying to decide if I want to bring my camera or not. Like, I feel like I should, right? Like, my nice camera, I bought it to go to Italy, and I brought it around Italy, but just space-wise, we'll see. We'll see. Packing this afternoon and tomorrow will be an adventure. I think I said this last time, I'm only taking a carry-up. So, we'll see. Alright, well, it is 3:37, and I'm going to go watch a UConn football game, which they're probably going to lose. They didn't really look, we went to see them last week in their opener. Not impressed, but go Huskies. Maybe we'll win against Navy, I believe. So, on the television, I will be watching that, and packing, and knitting on something yet to be determined. I don't know, do I want to try to finish one sock? Do I want to try to work on my shawl? Do I want to make a dent in the sweater? We'll see. Alright, well, I hope you have enjoyed watching today through all my rambliness, and I hope that wherever you are, you're having a wonderful day. Thanks for watching.